A U.S. federal judge has ruled that the Dakota Access Pipeline broke several laws in ramming through the pipeline that crossed at the Missouri River and Lake Oahe. In breaking those laws, the judge is now asking for additional briefing material ahead of a status conference next week. He will be, essentially, he is weighing whether to shut the pipeline down. So I'm going to say that one more time if you just came to the live stream. A U.S. federal judge has ruled that the Dakota Access Pipeline broke several laws in obtaining the final permit for the Dakota Access Pipeline, and he is going to be waiting for additional briefing material ahead of an additional status conference next week. Share this video. I'm going to read you the press release from the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, which has a lot of the information in here, and then tell you what I think. The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe won a significant victory today in its fight to protect the tribe's drinking water and ancestral lands from the Dakota Access Pipeline. A federal judge ruled that the federal permits authorizing the pipeline to cross the Missouri River just upstream of the Standing Rock Reservation, which were hastily issued by the Trump administration just days after the inauguration, violated the law in certain critical respects. As I always told you, there were still lawsuits in process. They are a long shot, but they were still in process. In a 91-page decision, Judge James Boasberg wrote, quote, "The court agrees that the Army Corps did not adequately consider the impacts of an oil spill on fishing rights, hunting rights, or environmental justice, or the degree to which the pipeline's effects are likely to be highly controversial. The court did not determine whether the pipeline operation should be shut off and has requested additional briefing on the subject at a status conference next week. Quote, "This is a major victory for the tribe, and we commend the courts for upholding the law and doing the right thing," said Standing Rock Sioux Chairman Dave Archambault in a recent statement. Quote, "The previous administration painstakingly considered the impacts of this pipeline, and President Trump hastily dismissed these careful environmental considerations in favor of political and personal interests. We applaud the court for protecting our laws and regulations from undue political influence, and we ask the court to shut down pipeline operations immediately." Share this video. Get this out. The tribe's inspiring and courageous fight has attracted international attention and drawn the support of hundreds of tribes around the nation. The tribe is represented by the nonprofit environmental law firm Earth Justice, which filed a lawsuit challenging the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for issuing a permit for the pipeline construction in violation of several environmental laws. Quote, "This decision marks an important turning point. Until now, the rights of the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe have been disregarded by the builders of the Dakota Access Pipeline and the Trump administration, prompting a well-deserved global outcry," said Earth Justice attorney Jan Hasselman. Quote, "The federal courts have stepped in where our political system have failed to protect the rights of Native community. The courts ruled against the tribe on several other issues, finding that the reversal allowing the pipeline complied with law in some respects. The $3.8 billion pipeline project, also known as Bakken Oil Pipeline, extends 1,168 miles. You know the story. So, several things on this. The judge did not rule to shut it down. But it is a very big deal that he said laws were broken, particularly environmental justice laws. This judge in particular, James Boasberg, has ruled against the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe every step of the way, including ruling against temporary injunctions and all sorts of other things. So the fact that he is quoted as saying the Army Corps, and by extension, Dakota Access Pipeline, broke laws that pertain to fishing rights, hunting rights, environmental justice, is a big deal. It is not a guarantee that he will shut the pipeline down, but it is definitely the biggest chance of that happening since December, when President Obama denied that final pipeline. I don't want to get people too excited because this judge it's possible the judge could say laws are broken, issue out a very hefty fine that Energy Transfer Partners or the Army Corps, probably Energy Transfer Partners, would wipe its ass with and allow operations to continue. So I want to be cautiously optimistic. However, a judge ruling that laws were broken, particularly environmental justice, that's important because there are environmental justice laws, to me is very, very firm, very, very indicative that something further might happen. It might be a temporary halt in pipeline operations. It might be a permanent halt, or it might be, hefty fines. Hopefully, it is not kicking the can down the road. We have had that happen for almost a year now with lawsuits and future court dates and, having court dates and then announcing further court dates and needing more review. I think this judge, dating back to September, has had more than enough time to read through the details of this pipeline, read through the law, read through the documents, and it is time for a final decision, one way or the other. Not in the judge's statement is the fact that this pipeline has already leaked 3 times that we know of. Again, that we know of. As I've reported, you had leaks in March and April. And it's not at all known whether there's been more leaks that weren't reported, because as you know, North Dakota, Texas, these big oil states are not exactly keen on being transparent, shall we say, in terms of reporting spills. And I am very sure the Dakota Access Pipeline, owned by Energy Transfer Partners, which is at 18 spills in Ohio with the Rover Pipeline, and a long history of spills with other projects, is not exactly rushing to give you information on spills. And when there are information on spills, yeah, we caught it right away, there was no damage, yada yada. You know how it goes. So, our trolls are back. Well, I guess the trolls can't handle, these trolls love the law, except when the law goes against them, huh? But again, cautious optimism. Obviously, I'll be following this every step of the way. He did say he is reviewing further material to the point where he wants further additional briefing on the subject and a status conference next week. I have asked to speak with the lawyer for Earth Justice, which is representing the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Hopefully, I will be able to speak with him before I go to North Carolina tomorrow. If you followed my social media, I'm going to North Carolina tomorrow. There's more water contamination now in Cape Fear, North Carolina, which is a little bit south of Wilmington, North Carolina. Gen X, which is a chemical tied to cancer, has been found in the water. It was found years ago, and apparently just now we're learning about the true extent. So I will be going down to North Carolina.